You're listening to Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello.
Hello.
So, this is going to be season 4 starting. Even though we don't really have any rhyme or reason how we do that normally.
Right.
It's a new year, so...
I'm proud of us making it 4 seasons.
Right.
Not a lot of podcasts do, even
That's
if we're
right.
making our own schedule.
And have no idea how many number of episodes is in each season or anything
Nope.
like that. A lot. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
And this is number 1.
Yep.
So, I'm going to jump right in and talk about the books I've been reading. And then I have a few other things that I've watched or touched on lately. I haven't done as much as I normally do, so
That's okay.
it might be quick.
We'll all give you a break.
Right.
But next week,
Yeah, I better be back on
come
my
prepared.
game. Yeah. Well, let's see. Okay, so I'll start from the fun stuff and then we'll go into the, I don't know, heavier stuff? More? I don't know.
Yeah.
So Horror Store is difficult to say. And it's a novel by Grady Hendrix. And it's kind of, well, it's black, the darkest of comedies and horror.
Got it.
So there are parts of it that are kind of hard to read in like the, not scary, but just disturbing.
Yeah.
But the concept is funny.
Right.
So it's about a young woman who works at an IKEA-like store. I can't even remember what they called it, but it's something that's similar to that, you know. But they name IKEA. They're not like pretending it's IKEA. They name it as like their store is like a copycat of that.
That's
too.
really funny.
But it was built on an ancient prison.
Oh.
Where there was a notorious bad guy who ran it. And so shenanigans happen.
I love this.
Yeah.
It's
pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's basically the character, weird things start happening, like unexplainable kind of alternate reality kind of stuff.
Oh.
And you don't really know. At first you think it might just be like psychological or whatever, but the store like changes and yeah. But then you find out later it's not just psychological. There is something actually going on. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So I would recommend it for fans of that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it is like kind of a specific niche.
Yeah, a very, very, very specific, but
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
That's great.
Let's see. And then I'm reading another book that I started and then put aside because I'm reading it on the recommendation of a friend. Shout out to Amy. And she told me it was one of the most disturbing books that she's ever read. And so I just wasn't... I started it and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to...
Go there.
I don't know if I want to right now, you know?
Did she finish it?
Oh, yeah. It's called The People in the Trees by Hanya Yanagihara. Hope that's how you say it. Yeah. It's about a man who goes to a remote tribe, and you know how those things always turn out. So...
Not
It's
how
a
you
study this-
not
yeah,
how the
just-
person expects.
No.
You know?
No. But we'll see. I'll report back
Okay.
if I finish it.
Okay.
But
I'm intrigued.
yeah. You know, when you're reading something that's like that, you either have to be like in a really good mood so it's not going to bring you down,
Yep.
or you have to be in the mood to wallow in misery.
Yes.
And I'm not in either one of those places
No,
right now.
100%. Or, or in a place where it's like you're already wallowing in misery and this reminds you that your life is better than the situation that you're reading about. In a weird, twisted way, lifts your spirits.
Yes. There's definitely that's a mood too.
So yeah, save it for one of those days.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see when that happens. Also reading Once Upon a Time, We Ate Animals, The Future of Food by Roanne Van Voorst. And It's basically imagining exactly what it says. I love this trend in
Yeah.
nonfiction where they just tell you everything in the title.
Yeah.
There's
It'll-
super long titles
Yeah,
and
short
subtitles.
title, and then the subtitle is like, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So exactly. So basically, it's imagining how how society will be when eating animals is a thing of the past, and and so it's analyzing sort of all the aspects of that.
That's cool.
Because people have known for quite some time now that it's not the best thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the next book I'm going to talk about is Blue Zones.
Mm-hmm.
And so people in the Blue Zones are people who live a long life. Like,
Yeah.
they trend to be like living to 100.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been studied in all different countries around the world. And one of the trends, one of the things that about all of these places is that the people there eat very little meat, if any. And so we know that it's not good for us, but how is that going to get turned around? And
Right.
that's the what the book is about.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's intriguing if you're interested in that kind of thing. And so are the Blue Zones. In fact, we are doing a group right now, a discussion group on the Blue Zones, which was a book by Dan Buettner, and I've talked about it before. But we're thinking about ways that we can incorporate some of these 9 basic tenets or 9 basic trends that happen in these Blue Zones to make our lives more healthy and, I don't know, live longer.
Yep.
If you want to do that,
Doesn't
I don't
hurt.
know. Yeah, who knows, right? But if you want to live longer, these are things that you
that's
can
your
do.
jam.
Hopefully, exactly. If you don't, just
Walk on by.
eat all those animals that you want.
All the meats.
Yeah, all the meats. Then I also kind of on a healthy kind of kick. I read a book called Breath by James Nestor. And this book is about how just simple things like different ways that you breathe have huge impacts on your body. It's really fascinating.
That is cool.
And there's lots of different offshoots of this and lots
Uh-huh.
of different things talk about breath work and this kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But he's backing it up by science as well as anecdotal evidence from his own experiences.
Uh-huh.
And he does a thing where it was really kind of horrifying, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
He participates in a study where they make it where you can't breathe out of your nose at all
Uh-huh.
for like 10 days.
Ah! I was about to be like, how long?
Right.
An hour?
Yeah, no. 10 days.
Oh my God, I would just like pray I had a cold during those 10 days so that I didn't have the option.
Yeah. Anyway, it changes his like blood pressure and all of this stuff. And they do it as an experiment because breathing through your nostrils and doing all this stuff does have an impact on you. So they block it so that they can see what happens when they are able to use their nostrils.
So,
to breathe.
does any of the changes that it makes, is it for the better?
Yes. Now, the experiment is, the blocking of it is just to get the result of what happens when you, like, completely reset and then you are able to use your nostrils again.
Oh, I
That's
see.
the good part,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So the blocking part is not, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Normally.
Don't.
You want to breathe through your nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it talks about all different kinds of things, lots of different approaches, and lots of different things that researchers have studied about it.
Huh.
And he also talks about how humans' jaws and faces and stuff have gotten reshaped throughout evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And so oddly enough, our jaws are smaller now than they used to be,
Huh.
but the soft part, like your tongue and palate and everything, is still the same. It has not shrunk together. So that's why there's so many people that have sleep apnea and stuff like this,
Whoa.
because the soft palate and everything inside their mouth is too large for the small jaw.
No way.
And it's because humans used to have to chew a lot more than we do now. And so just over time, our jaws have gotten smaller because we're not using them.
We're just slurping it all down.
Right, just drinking our animals.
Yeah. Drinking our meats.
That's terrible. That's so terrible. But you're just not having to, like, chew through whatever it was that they were eating.
Exercise those muscles as much.
Yeah.
That's
So
nuts.
there's the thing that one of the, like, treatments is to chew stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really fascinating.
I agree. Wow.
Yeah. And it's a deep dive in a very small subject, but it talks about, all of these benefits if you do, like, there have been other researchers or practitioners who have said that there's a certain kind of breathing that can help you lose weight. There's,
What?
all kinds of crazy stuff. So,
Yeah.
that one in particular is kind of interesting because the concept is that you breathe in. You only have to do it for like 2 minutes a day or something ridiculous, but or you can do it like that short of amount of time.
Right.
And you breathe out more than you're taking in,
Oh.
and it creates. Honestly, I don't know like exactly
That's
the
okay.
science about it, but it creates some significant change in like oxygen uptake or something like that. And so if you like force yourself to keep breathing out even for longer than you were breathing in, it does something
What?
to you. Yes. So
This is so crazy and interesting.
it is.
I love it.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. And
Yeah.
so then like, I don't know, like a third of the book is other like articles and other books and other like a big bibliography of other
Yeah.
things that you can find out, or if you want to know more specifically about all that
Right.
stuff.
That's great.
It's also related to something else that I just heard about recently, and I can't remember his name. Wim Hof, I think, is the name of this guy. And he says that partly it's breathing, but then he does like the cold ice dives and stuff.
Oh.
And so he says that doing like even just like a freezing cold shower
Yeah. no
every day,
thanks.
it activates your body and all these different things.
But that sounds awful.
It really is. But apparently, if you do it, you get used to it and you actually love it because you feel better. I don't
Wow.
know.
Okay. I mean, one time in college, our dorm didn't have hot water, and for like a week, and I had to take cold showers, and I didn't get used to it.
No,
so
no.
longer than a week, I guess.
Well, it takes your breath away, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it makes
I
you.
mean, it's like you have to concentrate on breathing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's something
That is-
related to it.
Nuts.
It is. So if all these things work, we will also report back on that
Yes.
from our cold shower. Then I started a book called Mick Mindfulness, How Mindfulness Became the New Capitalist Spirituality by Ronald Purser. And it's basically, there's so many. We see a lot of it in the library, but so many books about being mindful, and that it's kind of, according to this author, that it's gotten to such an extreme, and it puts all of this responsibility on the individual to change themselves instead of the world changing to get it to be a better place. So it's a really good point that he's
I'm
making.
nodding very hard right now.
Yes. So it's like, you hate your job, the climate's terrible. There's all of these things that are going wrong, but you know what you can do? Do some breathing exercises.
Get out of here.
Be mindful of your misery or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's also an interesting take on that. And, it does make a lot of sense. We are, as individuals, all of that stuff, happiness and all of these things, it's all put on you. It's your
Yeah.
fault if you don't
Yeah.
figure it out,
Yeah.
or if you don't like it. Well, you can't actually change anything, but you can change yourself.
Right. What do you have control over, really? Yeah.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Right. Exactly. Ugh. And then I also started another book. It's a book of short stories, so I haven't read all of them, but it's called Tunneling to the Center of the Earth by Kevin Wilson, who's the writer of Nothing to See Here, which is going to be our big read in October. Yay. And it's very good.
Yeah.
I've liked everything that I've read by him, so I would recommend it. And it will be on the library shelf as soon as I'm done with it. So try to get through with it this weekend. Because I'm not putting off reading that one like I am The People in the Trees. I'm going to finish it. And then there's another book that has been I've heard about for years and years, and I don't remember what prompted me to finally pick it up and read it, but it is so good. It's Devil in the White City, Murder, Magic, and Madness at the Fair That Changed America.
Yeah, this is my mom has been recommending this book to me since it came out, probably.
Yeah. Oh, I've recommended it to people that are looking for nonfiction stuff. Yeah. It's by Eric Larson. He's really a notable nonfiction writer. And, you know, I don't know. I'm picky about nonfiction, but he can spin a yarn.
Yeah.
It is one of those that I picked it up to flip through it and kind of determine, do I want to read this? And I just kept reading and it didn't stop.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's also in the works to be a series, I think, or a movie.
Cool.
With Martin Scorsese directing it and
Very cool.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Keanu Reeves being in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And if you haven't read it, it is definitely worth it. It's about the World Fair, and there was a psycho killer.
Yeah.
That
Is
created
it Chicago?
Yes.
Okay.
And this man built this huge big hotel, quote unquote, and then proceeded to murder the people that checked in there.
Yeah. Murder mansion.
Yes.
More like.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You check in and you don't check out.
That's going to be the tagline of the movie.
Oh, you know it is. Yeah. But so it is just a fascinating read. And even when you think it's just kind of going to be dry, kind of like setting the tone or setting the scene for these historical characters.
Yeah.
It's still, the writing is so good that you jump right in there.
Cool.
So that's my reading for now. And I've watched a few other things, some good things, some tragic things, some not so great things, but
we got variety, folks.
Yes, exactly. So I know you've seen Dark Side of the 90s.
Yes, I've seen a few episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen all of them at this point, but it's on Hulu. And it's just sort of like things that happened in the 90s that were not so great,
like
or that were
notable,
weird.
like 90s,
Yeah,
sort of.
So one is kind of on grunge music, and Kurt Cobain and all of that kind of stuff. And the Viper Room is another topic that they cover, about how the Viper Room was this famous club in Los Angeles owned by Johnny Depp, and that's where River Phoenix overdosed.
Yes.
And so it's kind of the rise and fall of that. And so it's, for a child of teenager of the 90s, I guess I have to say, it's interesting to look back. I can't say I was a child in the 90s. But Beanie Babies is another topic.
Ooh, Beanie Babies are like kind of everywhere right now. I mean, the topic.
Okay, I was going to say.
No,
what?
not actual Beanie Babies. But I mean, there's a documentary on HBO about the rise and fall of the Beanie Babies. They have an episode on this, which is really nuts. I mean...
Yes, it was such a bizarre thing.
I know. I mean, I was a kid, and my sister and I loved them.
Yeah.
We collected them. My aunt had a hookup at a Hallmark store.
What?
And that was like, where they were sold. So we had an inside scoop. But anyway, was a kid, so I wasn't aware that like adults were going cuckoo
Yeah.
for Beanie Babies.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, I remember that kids were getting them for gifts
Yeah.
and buying them stuff, but yeah, I did not know what
The
happened.
extent, yeah, no, that's nuts.
Another episode talks about TV for teens.
I
at
know,
the time.
I watched that one. I loved it.
The real teen issues.
Real teen issues, very prominent.
Yes. And how they address. I knew that they were going to have the clip from
Yep.
Saved by the
Yep.
Bell, and they address how they present these problems or these issues, and then in half an hour they fix it, and it's all wrapped up.
The addiction is gone.
Right. Yeah. If you know, you know. I think
Yeah.
with the Saved by the Bell
Yeah.
one, where Jesse gets addicted to
Some kind of
caffeine pills or
Oh
something.
my gosh.
It is hilarious.
Oh my god, just the way it's dealt with is really nuts.
Yes.
In like the lightest way. It's just the lightest way possible.
Right. But as according to this episode,
Mm-hmm.
the people who were presenting this was like a new thing.
Yeah.
To have like a voice for teenagers
Yeah.
and young teens too, especially, have like the real issues
Yep.
faced by them
Yep.
reflected in pop culture.
And I don't think I had ever put together just like how many of those shows kind of came out at around the same time. Mm-hmm. Was it Beverly Hills
Beverly Hills,
90210, Party of 5, yeah, all of those.
Yeah.
It just there was a little bit of an explosion of real teen issues, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't know any different. That was when we were kids.
Right.
So, yes. So check them out.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
if
I want to watch the rest of them.
Yeah, for sure. And also, there's a new season of Queer Eye.
It was so good.
It's so good, and the Fab Five, I guess they still call them that. They're just so sweet, and the whole show is just amazing, and they are so. It's I liked the old series when they
Yeah.
first came out with it, but now it's just that seems more sincere.
Yeah.
And it seems more actually touching. And
It
it's not
is.
so much about like making fun of people who have bad taste.
Right.
And fixing that. It's really like they do great things.
Lifting
for these
people up and, letting them, encouraging them to be themselves and who they are and that they're enough. And all kinds of people, too. I mean,
Yeah.
all kinds of people.
And they're another like sort of thread is that all of these people do a lot in their own communities.
Yeah.
They're inspiring people.
Yeah.
And they sometimes don't realize how much.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they get.
Well, and because this season is in Austin, and I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I mean, they provide all kinds of resources to these organizations and groups that, they would not have had access to what they give them. I mean,
Right.
it is each of those guys are so, so good at their specialty. I just, did you know Karamo was a social worker for 10 years? I mean, it
No.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It does, but I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so great.
It was so good.
And then I'm also starting back up with Snowpiercer.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
even know it was going to have another season. It ends.
Oh.
It has an ending.
Yeah.
The first season, and it's based on a film
Mm-hmm.
that was also pretty good when it came out. But no, there's a new season, and
That's
it's
cool.
taken off in a new direction. And I don't know.
Hmm.
I'll watch it. I'm not convinced just yet.
Got
but
it.
I was surprised to see that there was a new season, so I figured I'd check it out.
Nice.
And another new season of television is Blackish,
Uh-huh.
and it hasn't really been on my radar lately,
Yeah.
but it just kind of came up. I think it's on Netflix, and Michelle Obama stars in an episode
cool.
of it.
What?
Yeah, and it's pretty
girl.
funny. Yeah, as herself,
I love it.
but kind of a winking, obviously.
Right.
Performance. And then there's another series. It's only about 6 episodes, I think, and the episodes are 20, 25 minutes, and it's called War. And it's basically film lovers or film historians or experts, it's a variety of people, talk about how cinema, in particular through particular films that they talk about, changed their lives or shaped their lives.
Oh, cool.
And so one is about Jaws from 1975 and how that kind of thing and then the blockbuster concept impacted this woman who saw the movie when it came out.
Cool.
And how that then further impact film, in general, because it was one of the first, I think it's considered the first blockbuster.
That is so funny. I had no idea.
Yeah. They didn't have a term for that until then. So,
It's called what?
Voir.
War.
V-O-R.
I thought you said war, and so I kept kind of waiting for war to come into play.
It's hard to say. It's French. It's French for to see.
Voir.
Yes. And so they narrate it, and then they have clips from the movies, which is kind of one of my favorite things to do is like see clips and have people talk about them.
1,000,000% agree. Yeah.
All of my conversations would be that if I had the technology to carry around with me to illustrate.
Yep.
That's how impactful film is, especially for me. I feel like I could just say it in movies.
Yep.
Oh,
gosh.
So great.
Cool. I want to watch that.
Yeah. Another episode talks about vengeance and like revenge movies.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. So check it out.
I will.
And in fact, I didn't watch the last two of them because I'm saving them.
Yes.
I know. Especially since they're
short.
short and you kind of run through it. So I'm saving them up because I was enjoying it. Let's see. What else? Oh, Search Party. I talked about as being, as anticipating that coming out. Season 5. It is just a bonkers show.
Yeah.
Each season, it's a completely different show. Like, the characters go through these huge arc changes, for the most part. And you never know which one of them is going to be the villain, if they all are. And then they kind of call back to previous things that they've done, but it's just all just bonkers.
Because I've said before that I started it. I think I got through the first season and started the second season, and I ended up stopping because it got really crazy and it was stressing me out. I was like, somebody's gonna go to jail. Yeah. And because it starts out as just kind of a typical murder mystery, I guess. I mean, a classmate is missing. Are they in high school?
No, they're
young adults.
College age.
Okay,
young adult,
But they take it. These young people take it upon themselves to try to find their missing classmate. Anyway.
Yeah.
But the second season totally took a turn, and I didn't realize that that was just sort of the direction the show was going.
Right.
So that, I mean, honestly, that makes me want to watch it.
Yeah, it's just all different types of show. It's just...
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I don't even want to say... If I said what the 5th season is, you would not be able to connect how that was... Where that came from.
That makes me want to watch it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I recommend it. It is out there, though.
Yeah.
You have to go along for the ride,
Yeah,
and it's wacky. It's not...
for sure.
It's also dark at times, but yeah. It's definitely worth it.
I need to revisit.
Yeah. And then I was really disappointed. I was kind of on my 90s kick lately. A bit, just keep viewing and reading stuff about the 90s. But Fear Street is a trilogy of movies. They all came out like from one week to the next. They were on, I think, it was Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
And so the first one is Fear Street 1994. And then there's Fear Street 1978. And then the final one is 1666. And so it's based on these teen horror novels. So it's another one of these things. Like back in the 80s and 90s, R.L. Stine was, everybody was reading that.
Right.
I actually never got into that. It just wasn't my thing,
Yeah.
But I knew everybody I knew was carrying those around. And, and so this is based on a series from that. So these kind of targeting that age group,
Uh-huh.
and but telling basically just like a slasher story about,
Uh-huh.
you know, teenagers.
I love it.
So I watched the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to watch the other two. It is pretty much a straightforward slasher flick. You know, it's
Was
just...
that, I mean, was that what bothered you? Was that it was just totally predictable?
Yeah, a little bit. And it was... The acting is not fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's not really, like, elevated out of that just kind of, you know, being a genre, a real specific genre
Right.
of movies, then it's just not that excited about it.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's, you know, it's about this town, and there's a Fear Street, but it's FIER or whatever. But it's based on this family, and so there's like lore about this witch who was burned at the stake in 1600s, hence the 1666. And she's, you know, run amok.
Yep. Don't you hate that?
Like possesses people and makes them do stuff, and so I gave it a try. I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
enjoy it, but it just wasn't
Womp
that great. But that's okay. But just for fun,
Mm-hmm.
there is something that I've been putting on as I'm like cooking and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there's a new series with Jimmy Fallon called That's My Jam.
I almost put that on.
Yeah.
It looks kind of fun.
So basically, it's like he has 4 famous people.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have some kind of singing ability.
Okay.
They're not all singers or,
Uh-huh.
or musicians, but he gives them like challenges, like impossible karaoke.
Okay, I saw a clip of it was from this. I thought it was from his show, from the Tonight
Oh.
Show. But it was Ariana Grande and Kelly Clarkson
Yes.
singing karaoke, and it was like pop divas. Oh my gosh, it made me so happy.
Yes.
Both of those women are so talented.
Yeah,
It was so much fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's you know, it's not like you're thinking about anything, and,
Right.
And I didn't even like watch it. You know, I was like
just
hearing
kinda
it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. That's so fun. I mean, I love a good singer. I mean, I love witnessing amazing singing.
Yes. Well, and they take on these challenges like the impossible karaoke. Like so, there's Joseph Gordon-Levitt singing "Firework" by Katy Perry as Robert Smith of The Cure.
Oh my god!
So there's like multiple levels, and it's very clever.
Oh my
and
gosh,
they do
I
a
love
really
it.
good job. And then there's Chance the Rapper singing "Hot in Here" by Nelly as a country song.
I saw that too,
Yes. So
and it was great.
yeah.
It was. I liked it.
Yeah. Obviously, this is not a challenge that's like tossed to them as it seems to be in the show.
Right.
They
know.
prepare for these.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I'm entertained.
Yeah, I don't need to pretend
So
like
fun. I'm gonna put it on for.
I
same
think there's
time.
only been
Yeah.
like 3 episodes or
Okay,
something,
cool.
but
Nice.
yeah. it's a joke. Hoot. I was trying to say a joy.
It's a jute.
It's a jute. That's a new thing.
Well,
On that
I'm
note-
all about a good jute, so
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's it. That's all I got.
Fun.
I always like to wrap up, you know, by
I thought-
stumbling on my words.
I thought you were gonna wrap up on Fear Street, and I was like, ooh, okay,
no.
I won't watch that.
Right. Yeah, no, don't.
Cool.
All right. Well, we'll be back for episode 2 of season
4.
next time.
Very official season 4.
Exactly.
That's what we call it. Bye, guys.
Bye.